Friends, today we will be discussing vocabulary. Now, vocabulary is very important because word is the unit of language. We start learning a language from words. If we don't know words, so we can't use a language. If we want to speak, write, read, or listen to somebody, so we must know the words, the written words, the spoken words, the heard or listened words, as well as the words which we read. So without words, it is impossible that we can have a command on a language. Now, what is vocabulary? Vocabulary is the collection of words. My collection of words, your collection of words, it is called vocabulary. It is different from glossary. Glossary is the collection of words at the end, for example, of a book, the words used in that book, or glossary of a particular subject. That is called glossary. Maybe the collection of terms or terminologies. As I explained in another video, that word and term both are different things. In this video, I will focus more on words. But each term is a word, but all words are not terms. For example, we have a word photosynthesis in biology. So this is a term and it is a word, a term of biology and a word of English language. But if we say any word like think or computer, so this may be a common word, it may not be a term, although sometimes the same word becomes term in a particular subject or in a particular context. So to understand the concept of vocabulary, we should know the steps or the tips that how we can strengthen our vocabulary. There are two kinds of vocabulary: passive vocabulary and active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary are those words that we only recognize. We know the meaning, but we don't use them. These words are important for reading and listening, because when we read or when we listen to somebody, so the control on the use of the words is not with us. A book, a writer, or an internet site, the words written are not our words. So we must recognize those words. We must know the meaning or the definition. Definition is for a term and meaning is for a word. For definitions, we should have a dictionary like Webster Third College Edition Dictionary. And for meanings, the best dictionary is Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary. That is for meaning, not for definitions. For definitions, Webster New World, especially Third College Edition Dictionary. We can also get definitions from Encyclopedia, Wikipedia definitions for terms. But for words, we need the meanings basically. So we passive vocabulary is that vocabulary which we should recognize. Now to convert the words recognized into use, that we can use it. And what is use? Writing, or the other one is speaking. When we speak and we use a word, or when we write and we use a word, so then it becomes active vocabulary. From passive to active vocabulary. So this is a struggle, a battle. converting words from passive vocabulary to active vocabulary. Because a child, for example, has a little collection of words, but that child is reading and listening, increasing the collection of words and then converting it into active vocabulary when that child is able to speak or to write using those words. Now, how to build our vocabulary? There are some tips or some steps. Number one is the common, usually we are told read, read, and read. And I will also say listen, listen, and listen. We should listen to that language and we should read that language in whatever form it is available. I will take example of Dawn newspaper. Now the Dawn newspaper, when we start reading, depends the time that we have. If we are reading to understand the current affairs, so we should only focus on those articles or those editorials which are concerned about current affairs or political issues. So when we read and we recognize each and every word, so we should continue reading. But a word comes and we don't recognize. That is not part of our passive vocabulary. So the next step, the immediate step, stop reading. Take your dictionary. Oxford Dictionary, Webster Dictionary, or in Pakistan, Kitabistan Dictionary is also a good one because they define words from English into English as well as Urdu. So for beginners, I will recommend Kitabistan Dictionary, not other dictionaries which just give a kind of list of words, word and meaning in English and Urdu. No, you must know English into English and then maybe Urdu or Pashto or Sindhi or whatever language that you have. So this is the reading way, that when we know that this word is not part of my passive vocabulary, so I have to know the meaning of that word. That is the first step, and you should have a list of such words which is not part of your passive vocabulary, and then a time will come that these words you are transferring from passive vocabulary to active vocabulary. So reading or listening. And then, which is very important, that is context. That in what context you are reading those words. Technically, it is called pragmatics, and it is also called association of words, and it is also called collocation of words in another sense. For example, we say that she is completely beautiful. Now, grammatically, this sentence is correct, completely beautiful. But collocation wise, the word completely is not fit here. The usage is not fit. It can be extremely beautiful, incredibly beautiful, those adverbs, but not completely. Completely is incorrect. Grammatically, apparently it is not correct, but the collocation is incorrect. So we should have another alternative word to describe her beauty. So this is called collocation. Then another thing which is very important, that is register. Register or style. For example, where we use kid and where we use child. Okay. Or for example, we say, oh, that is very good, excellent, exceptional, splendid, gorgeous. Or we say cool. So the word cool or awesome, that is slang. That is colloquial use of the word. But when we say beautiful or excellent, so then that is another register. That is another style. So we must keep in mind the difference of the words which is used informally or colloquially and formally, and in what context, in what situation You are with your friends, your terminology or your vocabulary or your glossary, your collection of words, the words that you are using are totally different. When the same person you go and meet your father or your teacher or any other person with whom you don't have a formal kind of communication. So this is important that we should know register or style of words. Another thing which is whenever there is a word, so the first thing which comes to us that is its spelling. The mistake of spelling is not pardonable in English or any language. You can't commit mistake of spelling. Nobody will give you chance to make a mistake. You can't commit an error or mistake while writing a word. It must be correctly spelled. Spelling. And then especially words like homonyms, homophones, or other words like synonyms and homographs, the word which are written similarly but have different meanings, like the word state. STAT is state. State may be like country, state. It may be to say something. State is a noun. State is a verb. Okay, so there are different meanings with the same spelling. So that is called homograph. It may be homophone, prophet, prophet. So both are pronounced in the same way but different meanings. So spellings are very important. And the next thing is pronunciation. You must pronounce the word correctly. No, the pronunciation must be correct. Now, accent, British accent, American accent, other accents, Australian accent, Canadian accent, that depends. You may not adopt that accent so easily. For that, you must live in that country and with the native speakers. But this is important that the pronunciation must be correct. That is very, very important. For example, if you say schedule and you say schedule, both are correct. One is British schedule and the other schedule, that is American. But it is always better that you should speak one kind of accent or pronunciation. You should use that pronunciation always. But more important is communication, that you can convey your message to the other person in a candid, succinct, precise way. That the other person now, for example, I am speaking to you, I am using my words. Now these words that I'm using, I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, but maybe I'm not a native speaker, so I may commit a mistake in its pronunciation or my accent, but my message you must get. If you don't get my message and I talk, oh really something very strange that we just talked about the vocabulary and it's really so I can speak in that accent, but maybe you don't understand. So this making you understand and making sense of things, that is very, very important, because language is the key to knowledge. If you want to get knowledge, so you must have vocabulary. If you want to build knowledge, the construction or the edifice of knowledge, so you must need the blocks, the bricks of words collection. That is very interesting. Enjoy, be excited learning new words with new connotations, nuances of words. Among the words there are nuances. You can, it is just, and you should play puzzle like cross puzzles and boggles and Scrabble. The words are so beautiful. You can say to somebody, look, the word God and dog written with the same letters. D-O-G, G-O-D, the same letters, but what a difference in meaning. Okay, when you say like flower and you say curse, such a, beauty or ugliness, all these are words, but, words are so beautiful. So there is a mnemonics, there is a kind of thing, the memory tracks, that you should use the memory tracks. Like the word we say egregious, so it means like very bad or ugly. So when you say the word egregious, so you can say eggs reach us. Eggs. eggs reach us, egregious. So this is, a memory track that how you can remember that word. And then association. For example, you say the word uh, gigantic, huge, large. So you can associate one word with another word, and then you can build your vocabulary. Words, and then phrasal verbs, idioms, those are also very important. Get on, get off, these are phrasal words, beautiful. When you say, like, when you use phrasal verbs, so the beauty of the language that increases manifold. You multiply the beauty of language when you use phrasal verbs. And then idioms, to beat about the bush. you know so beautiful. This is like really, really interesting. And then we have euphemisms. Like, for example, we say he died, and if we say he passed away. So the same meaning, but euphemisms, that she is pregnant, or you say she is expected. So expected and pregnant, both are convey the same meaning, but you use it in a way which is not like embarrassment, or you don't make a person in a difficult situation. Your words are, in that sense, beautiful. So this beauty, this kind of aesthetical sense in the language, that is very, very important. So please, we language. The first step is what? That is alphabet. A, B, C. Alphabet, not alphabets. Alphabets is alphabet, letters of many languages. But when we say one language, like alphabet of English, not alphabets of English. Alphabets of English and Urdu. Alphabets of English and French, but not alphabets of English. Because letters, alphabet is the collection of letters, A, B, C till Z. This whole thing, this is called alphabet. That is the first step. We learned it in the primary classes, ABC. We combine ABC and we make syllables. Syllable is one, that sound that we can pronounce. We can make a one sound, so that is called syllable. Like, for example, there are so many words with 25 syllables, maybe a word with only one syllable, like put, but. So this is only one syllable. But if you say anti-disestablishmentarianism, so I think there are more than 10 syllables in this word, anti-disestablishmentarianism. So there are so many syllables. One is word is one, but syllables are so many. When we combine the syllables, so we make word. Word is the unit of the language. And when we collect these words, so we make vocabulary. And vocabulary is personal. Like dictionary, there are so many words, collection of words, but you don't use all those words. So that is not vocabulary. That's not your vocabulary. That is not mine vocabulary. My vocabulary, what I use, or what I recognize, as I said, passive and active. So then from the words, we make sentences. We combine sentences. And those sentences must be grammatically correct. In language, accuracy and fluency, what should come first? So personally, I think fluency, but accuracy is again very, very important. Grammar gives you accuracy, and practice or communication gives you fluency. So which come first? This is, a kind of controversial. Like our mother tongue, my mother tongue I learnt without grammar. But it is correct, 100% correct. But there was 24 hours practice. And when you don't have the opportunities of 24 hours practice, so then you have to learn the language through grammar. And then when we combine these words into sentences, this is very, very important. Up to this stage, letters, alphabet, syllables, words, and sentences. Up to this, there is grammar. These four stages, that is grammar. Now the next and the final stage, that is composition. Like essay writing, précis, all these things are parts of composition. So you can't compose directly if you don't know the first four steps. Alphabet, maybe that is over. Syllables, you may understand. Now words, collecting words, more and more words, and then combining those words into sentences, grammatically correct sentences. So you can start from simple sentences and then more complex sentences. All this is like kind of practice. Practice makes you perfect, the usual wisdom that all the time we have. So vocabulary collection, that is very important. When we read, so we should know, we should identify those words which are not correct. In competitive exams, this is very important that you use the word correctly and the term correctly. If you are attempting a paper of physics, so you must know terminology of physics. But if you are writing or using simple language, so it doesn't matter, it must be correct. Okay. And then in academic circles, when you are writing theses or you are writing like those things, so then you should be very, very careful where you are, in what situation you are. So according to the situation, pragmatics, context, you should have to the vocabulary according to the situation. Now the way that I'm talking to you, the same way I don't talk to my friends, for example, or with my family members. I use different words, not the same words. So reading more and more collection of words, a lot of words, because each word is the counterpart of an idea. We have an idea. For example, I have an idea to describe political system of a country. So ideas, correct, political system. But how to convert this idea into words? You need words. Without words, you can't describe. Description, that is important. So my approach is holistic, although I go for critical or analytical approach also. Critical or analytical approach is to divide the whole into parts. And holistic approach, which follows holism, Holism, holism is that to build you, your body, your organism completely, and then you run automatically. So one way is that you are sending me your pieces of writing, your essays, and I am correcting each and every piece. You will never learn. You will never become a good user. The people who are using this technique in academies and schools and colleges, they are totally wrong. Make the structure strong, and then automatically you will be able to write in a correct and appropriate way. So maybe this correction can help you, but this correction is just analytical, that is critical, that is just in pieces, that is in parts. You build your whole. That's why I suggest to some friends that they should focus on vocabulary and they should focus on sentences. Then they come to the composition. Composition is the last stage. You can't start building the wall from the top. You must collect the bricks. You must know what are the ingredients, the cement, sand. You collect all these things in an appropriate way. Then you construct the wall. Otherwise, it will be lopsided approach. That approach, that will be not rational, that will be not logical. So correcting your pieces of writing by tutors or by teachers, paying money or no money, that is a futile exercise, totally useless. It will not help you, not at all, absolutely not. What is the way out? The way out is the way I'm trying to help you, that you should build your own self. Okay, each and every sentence that you write, you should have the capability to write that sentence correctly. And then when you will combine those sentences in the form of an essay or précis or any other composition, then that will be more impressive. So this is my introductory lecture on vocabulary. We will continue discussion in the comments. Please discuss your special problems, that how your vocabulary can be improved further. And it will be improved from alphabet, syllable, word, sentence, composition, not the other way around. that you start writing essays and you don't know the basics of grammar. That will be totally, a kind of wrong approach. So thank you very much. See you. All the best.